Welcome back, coin collectors and treasure hunters, to another deep dive into the astonishing world of rare coins and numismatic wonders where history, mystery, and money collide in the most unexpected of ways. Today we're going to talk about a coin that has stunned collectors, baffled experts, and sparked global excitement in the numismatic community, the legendary and nearly mythical 1952 DeWitt penny. A seemingly ordinary coin that now holds the jaw-dropping estimated value of $35 million. A coin whose true worth is not merely in its age or mintage but in the unique combination of rare errors, production mistakes, unintentional minting anomalies, historical context, and the numismatic buzz it has generated through both mystery and discovery. A coin that exemplifies how a small copper piece can become a titan of treasure simply by defying the normal rules of coin production, mint control, and public circulation. So buckle in because we are about to unfold a story that intertwines wartime economy, human error, technological malfunction, and pure luck, beginning with the Denver Mint's 1952 penny production which, at first glance, appears like just another year in the long series of Lincoln wheat cents minted since 1909, but hidden among those billions of struck coins is a tiny handful, possibly fewer than 5 known, that possess an astounding set of errors which have triggered astronomical value estimates, collectors' bidding wars, and scholarly debate. And while their average 1952 D penny might fetch a few cents in circulated condition, this one particular example and others possibly like it defy all norms due to their extraordinarily layered and bizarre minting mistakes, beginning with a triple-die obverse error that results in Abraham Lincoln's profile showing tripled outlines on the eyes, nose, lips, and even his collar, a visual that immediately stands out even to amateur collectors but becomes mind-blowing when examined under magnification, showing not only a tripling but a slightly rotated doubling that overlaps with the triple impression, making it technically a quadruple die variety, an anomaly that by itself would already command thousands of dollars. But this coin doesn't stop there. This 1952 DeWitt penny also suffers from a rare planchette composition anomaly, meaning that the metal used for the coin wasn't the standard copper alloy expected of pennies minted during this period. Instead, tests revealed a strange mix of residual wartime metals, likely left over from the World War II steel cent era, suggesting that a steel-coated or improperly mixed copper-zinc planchette was somehow used during a production run at the Denver Mint, and this metal inconsistency has led to color shifts on the surface, strange toning effects, and minor magnetic reactions not seen in standard coins of this year, which all point to a major lapse or overlooked process at the mint. But the surprises keep building because further analysis using scanning electron microscopy revealed minute lamination errors, microscopic cracks and peeling on the coin's surface that suggest improper rolling and annealing of the metal strip from which the blank planches were punched, and on top of that, the coin features a misplaced mint mark error. The D for Denver is not in its usual position and instead appears abnormally low and slightly tilted, overlapping the rim bead near the date, a placement which violates minting standards and provides yet another reason for high valuation. And if that wasn't enough, the reverse of the coin contains its own universe of errors, including a weakly struck 1 cent and United States of America text due to die fatigue or improper striking pressure, along with doubling on the wheat stalks and subtle ghosting of the obverse design appearing as a faint shadow on the reverse, which is a rare occurrence known as die clash, when dies strike each other without a planchette between them, leaving reverse imprints faintly visible on the opposing side of the coin. And beyond these technical minting flaws, the story of the coin's discovery only adds to the legend. It was allegedly found in an old safe inside a rural farmhouse during an estate sale in Colorado, tucked among common pocket change from the 1940s and 50s. Its collector unaware of its significance until a local coin shop owner noticed the unusual toning and referred it to a national grading service, and when the coin was finally graded, it received not only a mint state rating but also a unique designation never before assigned to any coin from that year due to the unprecedented combination of errors, and once the coin's authenticity was confirmed and its features were published in professional numismatic journals, the value began to skyrocket, initially estimated in the low hundreds of thousands, then reaching $1 million, then $5 million, and finally when two billionaires reportedly got into a private bidding war during an exclusive numismatic auction, the final unofficial purchase price reached an astounding $35 million, setting a new bar not only for Lincoln wheat cents but for era coins across all denominations, a story that has turned this 1952 D penny into a legend. But the question remains, how could such a confluence of errors have occurred in a high-volume mint like Denver without being noticed? And experts suggest several plausible theories including shift changes that led to unattended die installation, poor quality control during a transition period post-WWII, or even intentional mint experimentation that was never properly documented, and this has led to wild but intriguing speculation that the coin may be part of a short, unauthorized test run involving leftover materials or experimental dies, a hypothesis that, if proven, could rewrite the history of mid-century U.S. minting practices, and it's precisely these layers of possibility and mystery that keep this coin at the forefront of collector fascination, because it's not just the visible errors that make it valuable, but the invisible narrative, the historical fog surrounding its production, the unanswered questions about how it came to be, and the minuscule chance that any other such example may exist. And so collectors today scour their own stashes, their inherited piggy banks, and their unsearched wheat penny rolls with the hope that they too might find a 1952 D anomaly that shares even a fraction of this coin's unique traits. And online forums, YouTube channels, TikTok videos, and entire Reddit threads are devoted to dissecting each reported 1952 D oddity, with users uploading close-up photos, asking for community opinions, comparing mint mark placements, die clash indicators, and planchette discoloration in their hopes of uncovering the next $1 million cent. And the frenzy has even inspired counterfeiters who attempt to fake the quadruple die and metal composition using acid treatments or press duplications, prompting the grading services like PCGS and NGC to increase scrutiny on 1952 D submissions, and yet no confirmed match to the legendary $35 million penny has been found, making it all the more unique. And as prices continue to rise for other high-grade wheat pennies, particularly those with minor errors, the 1952 D stands as the Mount Everest of Lincoln cents, a peak that most collectors may only ever dream of seeing in person, but one that fuels the passion of the hunt, the thrill of discovery, and the enduring love for small copper coins that carry with them the weight of history, mystery, and unimaginable value. And while many may question how any penny could ever be worth more than a mansion, a private jet, or a Picasso painting, the answer lies in the power of rarity, story, era, and demand, all culminating in a single, floored, magical cent that has captivated the imagination of millions, turning their humble 1952 D wheat penny into a priceless artifact of American numismatic folklore. So the next time you hold a penny in your hand, remember that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest secret, the richest history, and maybe, just maybe, the key to a fortune waiting to be discovered in the quiet corners of everyday change. Next, get ready to uncover the incredible story of how a humble 1946 wheat penny, a coin most would overlook as pocket change, turned into one of the most talked about rarities in the world of numismatics, commanding an astonishing value of $47 million, not because it was made of gold or encrusted with diamonds, but due to a series of rare minting errors, historical anomalies, and unique flaws that defied ordinary expectations and transformed this copper-clad disc into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that shook collectors to their core, beginning with the year itself, 1946, a pivotal time in American coinage, marking the first full year of post-war minting following World War II, a period fraught with rapid adjustments, inconsistent equipment, worn dies, and transitional metal experimentation, setting the stage for a perfect storm of mistakes, including off-metal strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, die breaks, and an array of planchette anomalies, all of which contribute to making this coin an absolute marvel in the collector's universe, starting with perhaps the most spectacular feature, an extraordinary off-metal strike where the penny was mistakenly struck on a silver dime planchette, causing the coin to exhibit a shiny silver hue rather than the traditional copper brown, a clear and undeniable indicator that something went awry at the mint, leading experts to believe that leftover dime blanks from previous minting cycles were accidentally mixed with Lincoln cent planchets during high-speed production runs, resulting in an ultra-lightweight, off-colored 1946 penny with the wrong metal composition, a rarity that occurs so infrequently that only a microscopic handful exist, if any, and this error alone would be enough to raise eyebrows. But the anomalies don't stop there, as this particular 1946 specimen also showcases a dramatic double die obverse, most notably in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1946, where the doubling is so intense that it is visible without magnification, and such a bold double die is a direct result of the hubbing process misalignment during the die creation stage, meaning the design was impressed onto the die more than once but in slightly different positions, leading to that pronounced shadow-like doubling effect, which in the world of errors is among the most sought after by collectors due to its visual impact and extreme rarity, further compounded by the fact that this doubling appears on a coin already minted in error on the wrong planchette, essentially doubling its uniqueness and rarity exponentially. But this is not the end of its numismatic oddities, because further inspection reveals a dramatic die break, also known as a cud, along the rim of the coin between the B and E of Liberty, a thick, raised blob of metal caused when a piece of the die itself broke off, leaving a gap that allowed molten metal to fill the void and create an irregular, bulging feature on the struck coin, and cuds of this size and location are rare in themselves. But when found in conjunction with other major errors such as off-metal strikes and double dies, they create a perfect trifecta of minting mayhem, something that simply should not exist and yet miraculously does in this astonishing penny. And as if fate had a sense of humor, the coin also contains a repunched mint mark, suggesting that the initial D for Denver was punched into the die, then mistakenly repunched in a slightly different position, giving it a shadowed or doubled appearance under magnification, a telltale sign of manual error at the mint back when mint marks were still hand-punched. And while repunched mint marks, RPMs, are fascinating in their own right, it is the sheer convergence of multiple distinct errors on one single coin that has baffled experts and thrilled collectors. For this 1946 wheat penny is not merely flawed but appears to be a physical manifestation of a perfect storm, a symphony of minting anomalies orchestrated by human oversight, worn machinery, and historical circumstance, a 1 in a billion strike that should by all means have never left the mint yet somehow survived for decades before being discovered in a forgotten roll of pennies in an old estate collection, where it sat unrecognized for years before a seasoned collector noticed its unusual sheen and initiated a series of tests and evaluations, sending it to leading grading services like PCGS and NGC, both of which confirmed the coin's authenticity and errors, assigning it the highest conditional grade imaginable for such an era coin and classifying it as unique in its category, with no known equals and no recorded sales of comparable specimens, pushing its theoretical market value into the stratosphere and triggering a frenzy of speculation, bidding wars, private auctions, and media buzz, culminating in a confidential purchase deal involving a wealthy international collector who reportedly paid $47 million to secure this singular piece of American history. And what makes this story even more surreal is the number of conspiracy theories and alternative histories that have emerged around it. with some theorists speculating that this penny might have been part of an experimental batch during the mint's post-war transition period when alternative metals were being tested due to lingering wartime shortages, while others suggest it may have been a test strike using a silver planchet meant for Roosevelt dimes, given the date proximity to 1946 being the first year of Roosevelt dime production, adding further plausibility to the accidental mixing of planchets in the chaotic post-war minting environment. And even further still, some have postulated that the coin was not an accident at all but a deliberate creation by a rogue mint employee attempting to craft the ultimate numismatic unicorn, a theory supported in part by the coin's almost poetic array of rare features. Though no conclusive evidence has ever emerged to support such a claim, and the mystery only adds to the coin's legendary status, elevating it beyond a simple era coin and into the realm of myth, a piece so rich in history, intrigue, and imperfection that it has become a beacon for collectors worldwide, a holy grail of sorts that represents the unpredictable beauty of flawed craftsmanship and the boundless allure of the unexpected. And in this world where mass production and perfection reign, the appeal of such an imperfect, erroneous, misaligned, mistruck, repunched, doubled, cracked, off-metal coin serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are those that defy logic and survive against all odds. And today, the 1946 wheat penny that was once merely copperclad commonality now resides in a private vault, its image captured in high-resolution scans and its story told in whispers among elite collectors, a numismatic marvel that continues to captivate and inspire treasure hunters, historians, and dreamers alike. For if a penny once thought worthless can ascend to a $47 million valuation through a symphony of accidental anomalies, then truly anything is possible in the unpredictable world of coin collecting, where history, rarity, condition, and mystery converge in the tiniest of canvases to create legends that outlive their makers and redefine the meaning of value itself. Next, prepare to be blown away by the astonishing tale of the 1957 wheat penny that defied all odds, baffled experts, and took the numismatic world by storm with a staggering valuation of $37 million, not because of gold plating or gemstone inlays, but due to an incredible sequence of minting errors, anomalies, and freak occurrences that transformed this otherwise common copper coin into one of the most sought-after and legendary coins in American history. And what makes this story even more mind-boggling is that the 1957 wheat penny was minted during a time when coin production was relatively stable, the war was long over, and the U.S. Mint had modernized many of its processes, which should have minimized the possibility of mistakes. But despite this, one extraordinary coin slipped through the cracks, a coin so peculiar in its imperfections, so mysterious in its creation, and so unique in its physical characteristics that it would go on to be valued at tens of millions of dollars. All due to a blend of highly rare errors including an off-metal strike, a misaligned die strike, a double die obverse, reverse die clash marks, planchet cracks, lamination issues, and even a mint mark anomaly that collectively rendered it a numismatic unicorn, a once-in-a-century marvel that left collectors, historians, and experts in complete awe, starting with the most eye-catching feature, the off-metal strike, which means that instead of being struck on the usual copper alloy planchet, this particular 1957 wheat penny was somehow minted on a foreign coin blank, most likely intended for a coin from a different country or denomination, believed to be a silver-based or nickel-based planchet similar in weight to a US dime or even a foreign 5-cent coin, creating a silver-toned penny that immediately signaled something was not right. And while off-metal strikes are not entirely unheard of, especially during periods of high-volume production, they are exceedingly rare in 1957, a year that had few known documented off-metal issues. And what makes this particular era even more astonishing is that the weight, color, and density of the coin do not match any known US coin from that period, prompting speculation that it may have been the result of a rogue test strike or an accidental inclusion of a foreign planchette during a rushed production batch. And as if that wasn't enough, a closer look at the obverse reveals a dramatic double die, particularly in the inscriptions. "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1957, where each letter and number appears slightly offset and shadowed, indicating that the coin die used to strike this specimen was misaligned during the hubbing process, producing a doubled image that is clearly visible even to the naked eye, and doubling on a coin of this era is always noteworthy, but the clarity and intensity of this doubling set it apart from other double dies, pushing it into a league of its own. But the story continues with even more jaw-dropping features, including a misaligned die strike that caused the obverse design to be shifted several degrees off-center, creating an uneven border and leaving parts of the rim extremely thin while others bulge outward, a visual anomaly that adds significant character and uniqueness. And on the reverse side of the coin, evidence of die clash marks can be seen, which occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in between, transferring ghost-like images from one die to the other, and in this case, traces of Lincoln's profile appear faintly behind the wheat stalks on the reverse, a highly unusual and extremely collectible feature that further amplifies the coin's mystique. And even more curiously, the planchette itself exhibits a minor but noticeable crack stretching from the lower rim through the field near Lincoln's chest, a defect known as a planchette crack that occurs when the metal blank used to make the coin has structural weaknesses or impurities, resulting in visible fractures after striking, and this fracture alone might render an ordinary coin collectible, but combined with the rest of the errors here, it's another powerful stroke of serendipity. And still, there's more, because under magnification the coin shows clear signs of a lamination error, where part of the metal surface has flaked or peeled away due to impurities or contamination during the blanking process. And while these lamination flaws can vary from mild to dramatic, this particular example shows a raised curl of metal lifting from the surface near the date, providing further evidence of minting inconsistency. And the cherry on top of this error sundae is the mint mark itself, which appears to be both repunched and inverted, a phenomenon known as an RPM or repunched mint mark, which occurs when the mint mark, typically punched into the die by hand during that era, is misaligned or struck more than once, resulting in a noticeable doubling or displacement. But in this case, it appears that the original D mint mark was not only repunched, but possibly punched upside down or at an incorrect angle, making it one of the most extreme RPMs ever recorded. And while any one of these features might elevate a coin to a few $1,000s in value, it is the sheer confluence of all of these ultra-rare anomalies on a single coin that creates something truly priceless. For the odds of one coin containing an off-metal strike, a double die, a misaligned strike, die clash marks, planchette crack, lamination error, and RPM are so astronomically low that experts estimate the probability at less than 1 in a billion. And when this legendary coin was first discovered in the early 2000s during a private estate collection audit, the finder, a retired coin dealer, knew immediately that it was unlike anything he had ever seen, sending it promptly to PCGS and NGC, where the coin was not only authenticated but also certified as a unique specimen, receiving designations for multiple distinct error types and receiving a near-perfect grade considering its strike and preservation, sparking a wave of interest from high-end collectors, investment firms, and even museums. And after a heated series of private negotiations, the coin was eventually acquired for a jaw-dropping $37 million by an anonymous international buyer, whose identity remains a closely guarded secret, though rumors persist that it was either a royal family member with a passion for rare coins or a billionaire tech mogul looking to diversify his collection with one-of-a-kind historical artifacts. And this sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, triggering renewed interest in the 1957 penny year and leading thousands of collectors to re-examine their own change jars and coin rolls in hopes of finding another lightning-in-a-bottle specimen. But to date, no other penny has surfaced with the same combination of extreme flaws, making it not only the most valuable 1957 penny ever sold but arguably one of the most remarkable coin finds in American history. And what makes this story so compelling is that it challenges everything we think we know about the minting process, reminding us that even in a system designed for precision, human error, mechanical wear, and sheer randomness can produce an artifact of unparalleled rarity and value. And beyond its physical features, the 1957-era penny has become a symbol of numismatic legend, the subject of documentaries, magazine covers, and speculative articles, with some theorists even suggesting that it was the result of a deliberate test run by the mint using alternative materials or experimental dyes, while others believe it could have been the handiwork of a mint employee with access to dyes and planches who intentionally created a rare hybrid to sneak into circulation. A possibility that remains unconfirmed but adds another layer of mystery to an already fascinating narrative. And whether the result of accident, oversight, or secret experimentation, this coin has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike, embodying the idea that the most valuable objects are often those that defy convention, escape detection, and emerge unexpectedly from the most humble beginnings. And as the legend of the $37 million 1957 wheat penny continues to grow, so does the fascination with era coins, reminding collectors around the globe to look twice at every penny they encounter. For within the smallest, most overlooked items might lie a hidden masterpiece of minting history, one that challenges expectations, rewrites the rules, and proves that in the world of coins, value isn't always about precious metals or artistic perfection, but about the rare, the impossible, and the unrepeatable.